My name is Jeff Kramer. I'm the CTO of Transparent. I'm joined by Ankit Gupta, one of our senior engineers, and I'm excited to show off some of the underpinnings of Zand, our new product in B2B payments. So we all know problems that exist in payments, how far we need to go to modernize the stack, especially in the US. Payments are slow and complex, rarely built to serve the needs of those using the system itself. While we've seen an explosion in new types of currency and payment techniques, efforts to simplify and distribute control have failed. So we've built Zand, a community-based B2B platform for real-time value transfers. Zand networks are available 24/7, 365, designed by and for each transactional community. These can range from Forex traders and cryptocurrency OTC desks to networks of community and regional banks. There are no central issuers, no new currencies, and no intermediaries, just digital dollars in real time. Networks are programmable to meet the specific settlement instructions of its users while remaining under the control of the community. We've designed an entirely new market architecture with equitable distribution of revenue and costs, as well as transparent network status and liquidity. Zand networks are designed to empower business communities, boost the banking middle class, namely banks outside the top 25 that own most of today's infrastructure, and to create a new payment system that is fair, equitable, and can serve as a platform for emergent innovation. There are many ways to think about and use Zand: as a bank-agnostic digital dollar settlement network, as a platform for bank innovation, as a community-owned rail, as a more equitable real-time payment system, or many other ways we and our partners haven't thought of yet. So I'm going to show a short demo about how Zand functions. So let me share my screen. Can folks see that okay? Hopefully.
Looks wonderful, Jeff.
All right, great. So, all right. So while we're in beta, we're shielding the names of the banks that we work with. But the system's been live and running for months in a series of tests. Note that we don't require any new software to be installed at banks. We only require access to 3 simple APIs. So we need a balance check, we need a transaction history, and we need a book transfer. Banks also choose who to bank. So all of the members in the network must be banked at a participating bank. All right, so I'm going to show 2 different ways of doing the same thing for each of these applications. One is in this wallet application, which is just a simple wrapper over our APIs that we otherwise would provide. And then also our Swagger documentation. I'm just going to execute it right out of the Swagger docs. And so first, we'll do a creation. So this will create new digital dollars from the funds at a participating bank. And those funds actually remain at that participating bank. And unlike other digital currency systems, there's no central issuer. Each member controls the creation, transfer, and redemption of these dollars. So we've removed any large central party, which lowers the counterparty and settlement risks, as well as market contagion from a failed issuer. So we'll do a creation here. So we can transfer funds, we can pick which bank we want to go with, and we can create some digital dollars. So what's happening in the backend here is it's actually doing 2 things. So first, it's putting a request to create these digital dollars, and simultaneously, it's moving the funds that are correspondent to that request into the shared accounts for the network. And so we can do the same thing over here. So this wallet that's back here is actually represented by this Swagger documentation. So this is Cool Inc. That I'm going to be doing Swagger with versus Awesome Co. Here, if I wanted to do a creation request, so I go creation request, so request body, pick one of the 2 banks to work with. We'll go with bank 1, and then we can create $100 worth of claims, and we'll execute. Now, the interesting thing here, scroll down and look at the creation request output. The thing is, this is just the first step, right? So this has created the request, and then there's a nonce that's associated with that request. And then the transfer that needs to happen will be transferred to the reserve here. So, we used bank 1. It was $100 worth, and it has a nonce that's associated with it. So bank 1, $100. And put the nonce in and execute. And you can see that the reserve transfer has occurred. And then with a little bit of time, you'll see that both the value here inside of this account has gone down by 100 and the value here has gone up by 100. So 100 more claims have now been created. So these claims are fungible across any of the banks within the network. So we'll see that when we redeem, but first we'll do some transfers. We'll show a transfer here, or a payment rather. So if I come over here and I send a payment, I need this wallet ID, or I can actually use this little context book we built in. Either way, it doesn't really matter. The actual wallet ID though is publicly shareable. It doesn't actually, it's a corresponding identity, but it doesn't actually provide any access to the system. So if I come here and I was to run this, then I could send any amount of money over to the other entity. So I'll send $10,000. And so this doesn't actually touch any of the banks. And it is both stored on the digital ledger that backs this entire system, as well as in any particular member's data store. And so you have access to all of your data at all times, as well as kind of a shared reference point that you can access. The interesting thing here is that once those funds arrive, your payment obligation is now extinguished. And so the other company has been paid because it's just $1. Now we can run the same sort of thing from Coolink's account to pay AwesomeCo. And again, very simple API call. I can go up here and instead of creation request, I can pay. I can get this wallet identity. So I'm going to pay that identity, and I'll just, I'll send back the money or some money. So $200, execute it. You can see another successful transaction, a transaction ID. And certainly all of those transactions are visible. You can get your transactions and look at all of them. And they have a lot of other data associated with them that help you keep track of the work that you're doing. All right, so that's a transfer. And then you can see that it's arrived over here. And then we can do some redemptions. So redemptions, you can redeem into any account that you would like to have hard currency in. So you can transfer funds, and this again transfers out of the local store of funds for that bank. And so you can see, let's put $1,000 back into the bank, transfer funds. This is a different thing than creation because the request to redeem just happens. So those claims are actually destroyed as part of the process, and then the funds are redeemed into that particular bank account. And then we can come over here and again we can do a redemption. Again, because it's simpler, it doesn't require that. So you can pick whichever bank you want, and then you can redeem funds into it. We'll redeem $100. And you can see that this executed appropriately. And now all of those redemptions have occurred. This will refresh in a second here. You can see this value went down, and then between these two banks, I think it's that. Oh, it's still pending. So we've actually wrapped the banking APIs for our various banking partners in order to be able to accomplish this. And there's we're integrated with various banks right now, and more coming. And so we provide kind of a simple interface into any particular bank in order to be able to execute with this system. And again, nothing is installed within the bank itself. So the networks that serve these transactional communities can be quickly set up. Only 2 counterparties are necessary to benefit from real-time transactions, but the network gains efficiencies as each member brings in other companies that they do business with. The members benefit from being able to set their own rules, costs, and settlement times, as well as enjoying an equitable distribution of the network's revenue and costs. So any BSA compliant business using Zand can create, transfer, and redeem digital dollars using a platform that's entirely within the established regulatory framework within the US. And they don't have to go through any new intermediaries or counterparties. In addition to empowering communities of Zand members, we see our network as a key driver of a more competitive banking sector. We're focused on working with regional and community banks, not the tier 1 banking sector. By offering Zand-enabled accounts, these banks can offer more competitive services for their clients while attracting and retaining deposits. Finally, for fintechs and crypto companies, Zand is a digital dollar platform that meets your needs without decades-old, outmoded tech. So if you're a member of a transactional business community, crypto, commodities, trade finance, payment processing, regional community banks, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd love to show you how Zand can work for you.